Hey there, welcome to the ultimate warm-up. We're gonna take you from toes, go all the way up through all of the major joints, and I'm gonna throw in what I see as like the most common weaknesses in humans because of modern sitting, driving practices, that sort of thing. Let's get it. So most of what we're gonna do is hit all of our controlled articular rotations. Now, if you don't know what a CAR is, that's the acronym. It means controlled, you're doing it. You're not using momentum or a band or gravity. The power is being generated by you. Articular refers to the actual joint, but also like the etymology of articulation is how clearly something is spoken, how clearly something is communicated. And then rotation means we're just gonna be taking each joint through its full range of motion, and then we're obviously gonna hit some specific rotational stuff within that. Let's start with toes. Feet nice and flat. In fact, I'm actually gonna start with this variation. I'm just gonna give you my best variations. There's like standard ways to go through cars. I think some of them are dumb. We're gonna do the good ones. So feet nice and flat, and I'm gonna do this little weird sorority squat because sometimes when you're trying to use your toes, the ankles wanna do stuff or the hips wanna do stuff. So you're gonna keep your knees nice and still, keep the feet nice and flat, and then big toes off the floor, back down, back up, back down. Little toes as high as they will go, but the big toes stay. Breathe. And everybody's up, just the bigs. Back down. I'm gonna say breathe about 1,000 times in this video because, especially if it's something new, let's do the littles down. Your system is gonna be super focused and you're gonna forget to breathe, or at least breathe well, breathe deeply. And we have to breathe well so that our system stays calm. Piano keys, outside to inside. Back up, outside to inside. Piano keys, inside to outside. Try not to let your fingers help. Sometimes your fingers are gonna do weird things. You just wanna feel your toes and the arches of your feet. Okay, ankle cars. I like the seated version better because everything is locked in. You don't have a bunch of wiggly wobblies. So we're gonna do a straight leg variation. So go into a position where you're actually feeling some sort of stretch. If that's too uncomfortable, you can do it from your back. Okay, so you're feeling a little bit of hamstring, a little bit of calf, big, slow, beautiful circles. Any little stutters, any little spots that your ankle wants to like zip through, it's a no-go. If you feel a pinch pain, so if you're moving in a direction and instead of a stretch on the long tissue, you feel like a weird, it could be pain, but it could also feel like stuck or blocked. That's something called closing angle joint pain. If you don't know what that is, you can pause this one and go to the video that I have linked down below to talk about how to address it. But for today's purpose, if it feels like closing angle joint pain, don't push into it, okay? Great, switch. Breathe. And like, if you feel like on this side right now, I feel a heck of a lot more tightness than the other side. The whole point of like a good warm-up is that you want to have clear and clean communication with whatever you're talking to. So if you're getting a lot of feedback and you're like, God, that feels kind of terrible, like the stuff you're already good at, you're already good at. It doesn't make any sense for you to just keep crushing that over and over again. You want to get good at the shit that you suck at, okay? Okay, when that feels pretty primed, up to a seat, we're gonna talk about knee rotations. So most people don't even know how to do this, so we're gonna start with the rotation, then we're going to the full car. You want your heel, imagine there's like a little arrow coming out of the back of your heel. You need to get that arrow to travel. I don't really care where your toes are going because your ankle is gonna kind of cheat that a little bit. So the heel is what we want. And even better, you wanna pull your heel to your butt. So you get a little bit of hamstring. So when you go in, you feel a little more inner, center, middle ham, out, outer ham, okay? Then we go through the full knee car. You crush one rotation and like big, keep as much of that as you can. Extension, gonna get a little shake, switch, extension, back down. Now, I love hitting the rotation switch in flexion because you're gonna get way more flexion in, way more rotation in flexion. You can technically go up to the top, switch the rotation, come back down, which I'm a fan of getting good at everything, so you're gonna get good at everything. But especially in the beginning, if you can't quite figure out how to get your shin bone to rotate, doing it in flexion here is going to help you. Switch. rotation. And you can see I'm kind of like guiding. I'm keeping my leg still because I don't want if this is moving, it's coming from my hip. It's this bone rotating. Aim that imaginary arrow. And once you're like, okay, that feels pretty primed, crush rotation, keep the leg still. I have this little like jujitsu hug so that it can't move. And rotation. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of good shake through this. Ugh. You might experience some tightness. Normal, fine. Okay? I'm not a big fan of like, you have to do it 30 seconds and you have to do it 30 seconds. Get to a similar level of work, okay? That is knees. We actually should do this actually. Your patella can move. Again, something that's never talked about, but it's pretty freaking important. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna grab the skin. If you're like grossed out by this, you're fine, it's gonna be fine. Get your skin out of the way. And then your patella, the kneecap, should slide side to side, up and down. And it should also find a great big rotation, a great big circle. Now, if there's any areas where it feels kind of stiff, you're not gonna force it, be smart. But if it's stiff in that area, the patella needs to glide, all right? So you're gonna gently work it. And as you get good at this and you do this video multiple times, it'll get better, okay? A little bit of patella rotation. Get that skin out of the way, side to side, up and down, patella rotation, patella rotation. Okay, so like this one's got a little snag. Just gonna work that area a little bit. Good. Cool, hips. Rotation, 90-90. Actively try to create rotation. If you can't do this, lie down like little baby. Keep your hip and your knee still. Keep this hip still. Just lift off. You're literally thinking, how do I get this big leg bone, your femur, to corkscrew inside the hip? And at the top, you wanna like, dig, okay? This is external, internal, the back leg, you're floating that back ankle. Now, a lot of the time when people first start doing this, they get a lot of hip flexor action, which is not like inherently bad, but we wanna send the majority of work into the biggest tissue, so you wanna give me a little artificial butt squeeze, so just squeeze your butt as you're doing this, and you wanna start feeling this in the actual hip, like deep. You wanna be like, whoa, I feel this in my joint, because that's what we're doing. We're talking to the joint, okay? When that's primed, switch. External. Now that's easy, you just come up higher. I got a lot of rotate, this is what I do. So if you're like, I don't look like Mark, you're fine, okay? Just go to whatever your end range is today. Okay, nice and toasty, good amount of heat. Nice and toasty, back leg, little booty squeeze. And good squeeze. Cool. When we're toasty, I want to do a little bit of hip flexor action, because most of what I see is that people's hip flexors are pretty weak. So you can lean back if you need to. You're gonna go straight up, down. I'm getting a lot of height, so as I get taller and I come further forward, that's what I need to work on, because it sucks. And you want to get good at the stuff that you suck at. Little circle. Little circle. If you cramp, it's normal and okay. It doesn't feel good, so you can like take a break and move around a little bit. And as you get good at this and you do it more, you're gonna get less cramp. Okay, so straight up and downs. And if you're like, this is terrible, lean back a lot, right? Get a lot of height. Circle. Circle. Good. Hip car. I like the quadruped version on my forearms. Because as I come down, you can see my low back's pretty rounded. It's hard for me to arch into my low back, which is what we want. We want to disassociate the lumbar from the actual hip movement. So you're gonna stay rounded, bring that knee back, internally rotate, extend, fire up your glute, squeeze your glute, externally rotate, get your knee above the foot, little kiss, get that hip flexor to burn by driving your knee to your shoulder, and then return, internal, back into flexion. You might get some pops and cracks and stuff, normal and okay. Big circle. If you need more, you can do it with a straight leg. If you try that and you're like, this sucks, then, well, you need to get good at the things you suck at, but find the gradient that's appropriate. Hard, but not impossible,
Okay, see how my heel kisses? Because I'm in rotation at the top. Okay, switch. Forearms, lumbar rounded, knees back, internal, glute. I'm trying to squeeze my legs together. I'm gonna go straight up. External, little kiss, return. You also don't want your pelvis to open up to the side, so you're keeping your pelvis level and parallel with the floor. Kick, rotate, kiss, rotate, back. One more, especially if it's your non-dominant side. Probably needs a little extra. Good. Spine. Spine, we're gonna break into little pieces. So, tabletop. Here's cow. Here's cat. I'm gonna dish my hat. I'm a poet. In cat, you keep your chin to your chest. Start with the hips. Little by little, you're going into cow. All the way to the top. Start with the hips. Little by little, you're going into cat. Good this time. Start with the head. Chin up. Upper back. Mid back. Lower back. Start with the head. Chin. Upper. Mid. Lower. Okay? Good. Now, thoracic. We break it into pieces because A, your spine needs a segment, which we just did, but also your thoracic is held together by basically armor. Your ribs, your collarbones, it's much harder to move. We need more of it, okay? Little vampire arms. If this doesn't feel good, just sit in a chair or sit on your butt, whatever you need. Rotation. First. Breathe. Good reminder for myself. Now, in rotation, cat. As much rotation. As much cat, rotate across. Rotate and cat. Rotate in cow. Cow, 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 cow. As much cow as you can find. Rotate in cow. Cat. Back up. This one, keep in mind, you don't have to like perfectly do it left, right, center, left, right, center. If you're like, God, this area sucks, spend some time, right? Dig into those areas, big breaths, because the breath, your CNS, your central nervous system, is always gonna let you breathe. It doesn't want you to die. So you can cheat a little bit more range by breathing deeply, because the body is always gonna let you find a little extra. Cool, scapula. Little T-Rex arms. Nice, big, slow circle with the scapula, your shoulder blades. Okay? I'm gonna turn to the side so you can see what I'm doing. I'm not choo-choo, my elbows are pinned. They can go up and down, but if this starts to happen, that's your shoulder, not your actual scapula. See, nice and tight. Big slow circle. Neck disappears, pull them down, use your lats, use your chest. Get good at going in all directions. Pinch those blades together, pinch them, pinch them, pinch them, pinch them, pinch them all the way down. Pinch them, pinch them, pinch them all the way up. Fully open all the way down. Fully open all the way up. Great. Shoulder, we're gonna break into rotation first. Just like the hip, you're gonna focus on trying to have that deep communication in the joint. So you wanna keep your trap, which is just moving the scapula, out of it. You're trying to have an isolated conversation with just this shoulder joint. Okay, internal rotation, external, internal, internal. Let's give it a little bit of heat. Give me a fist, give me a little ticket to the gun show. Keep that tension as you find rotation. If you look at my fist, I'm not breaking my wrist, it's not going back, I'm not doing weird things with my forearm. My forearm's facing you, and it's facing you the whole time until it's, facing the floor. And then ideally, kind of facing the ceiling. Cool. Toasty, switch. Internal, external. Big breaths. If you can't feel or see that this is working, put a hand there. And I don't want that sucker to contract at all. You're just feeling the meat in the shoulder, not your actual traps or neck. A little bit of action, a little bit of gun show. Dig, dig, dig. Dig, dig, dig. Cool. The full shoulder car, can do it from a seat, you can do it from a chair, whatever. We're gonna start nice and tall. Scaps are not involved. You're gonna go by your side, go internal. So you can think about, where's my pointy part of my elbow? Where's my elbow pit? Flare that elbow out, that's internal. Go straight back to the body. Go straight up, stay tight to the body. Start to externally rotate so that palm is starting to face the ceiling. Sweep it all the way across your face. Lots of external, so I'm trying to get that elbow pit to the ceiling. All the way up through here, I'm stuck. That means we start going into internal, and we start back where we began. I'm gonna do the other side facing you, so you can see what that looks like. I'm tall, I'm internal, I'm pinned, no daylight, straight back, external, palm up. Anytime you wanna take this to the next level, you can add tension. So that can be take it to the gun show, it can be make a fist, it can be tense the rest of your body. All right, the more irradiation or tension throughout the whole system, the better equipped your system is to handle force because it can generate force in all of these ranges. And good. And you're balanced through all of that. Let's just finish going up through the body, neck, ear to shoulder, chin to shoulder, big circle, big throat stretch, nothing pinchy in the back because that's closing ankle joint pain. Ear to shoulder here, chin to shoulder, chin to chest. Up, ear, chin, sweep with the chin, to the shoulder, lateral, chin back, chin chest, up. At any point, if you're gonna do more of these or less of these, totally fine. Jaw, mouth open, closed, open, close. You don't need to like clench your jaw. We do enough of that because we chew food every day, but definitely full range open. And then also from the side, you want to experience open, jut, up, in, out, down, Okay, so that's the forward motion. We also have side to side motion. So you're gonna go open, you can make it a nice smooth circle. I'm just kind of showing you like the linear points of what you want to hit in that full rotation. Eyes. This is not one that's ever talked about, but your eyes have muscles. They need to be worked. Most of the time in modern day, we're moving our head and our neck and our whole body to look at the screen or the laptop or the TV or whatever it is. But you have to also be good at moving side to side. So you can do this eyes open or eyes closed. It looks weird. It is what it is. Nice and tall. Keep your body still. Your head's gonna wanna like do stuff. No head. Eyes, left and right. Up and down. Big slow circles. So it's like you're tracing the outline of your eye socket. If you're like weirded out right now, you can close your eyes, it's totally fine. Big circle the other way. All right, and you're gonna feel areas where it feels like literally the eye tissue or the eye musculature is stretching and working. Yeah, it's a muscle, just like when we bicep curl and stuff. You wanna strengthen it. I haven't found a way to attach weights to eyes, but when I do, I don't know, it'll be cool. We got to do the rest of the arms. So I'm going to show you elbow from the side here. So let's keep 90 just to start because you can clearly see supination. Supination, technically you could put a little bit of soup in your hand. That's how I remember it. Pronation, down. Soup, no soup, okay? The full movement of the elbow is flexion, so you're pinning in tight, no little gap between your forearm and your bicep. Crush, supination, all the way down. Good. One thing to be aware of, look at my elbow pit. It's not flared, because if I flare it, that's the shoulder, all right? So no daylight, keep it pinned, all the way up, crush rotation, back down. Now, our anatomy is structured pretty similar when it comes to our limbs. So you can see that this is kind of like the elbow, or sorry, it's kind of like the knee. You crush rotation, you come all the way down, you come back up, you crush rotation. You can add a little fist, add a little ticket to the gun show. But this one, because we don't have a patella, you can do your rotation, come down, and fully open, you can still find rotation. But again, I'm not flaring my elbow pit, so technically you can do rotation in this fully open position. Up, rotate, down, switch, biceps tight, supinate, down, up, pronate, up, supinate, up, pronate. In extended, let's just crush some rotation here. Good. Wrist. I'm gonna rest my forearm on my thigh, rest it on something, because we wanna make sure that the elbow now is not trying to help with the wrist. Crush pronation, hold on to the bones of your forearm. You can literally feel one bone, two bone, they don't move. Let's do a pancake hand, flat hand, big circle with the wrist. Nice and slow and thorough. Very similar to the ankle, except we have a different bone structure down there, so we actually have more range in the wrist. Anytime there's little stutters, little skippies, we gotta smooth that puppy out. All right, your wrist needs to be a wrist in all wrist positions. Let's add a little ticket to the gun show, a little fist. You're gonna hear some crackles and pops. Unless there's pain, it's normal and it's good. Okay, supinate, flip, lock it in, big. Big, big, big. Full range. The first time you go through cars, there's a lot of information, so you're doing great, you're hanging in there. All of a sudden your brain will start to understand what you're asking it to do. So then, the first couple, always, let's switch, are gonna be like a, hello, how are you? Pronation, flat pancake hand. But then after a while, you want those next couple of reps to be like digging, like you are fighting for range. Because that's the point. You want to get good in all positions, okay? Little fist, a little bit of bicep action. The elbow will probably want to flare here. Basically, your body is trying to be efficient, is lazy, right? Anytime it can be like, I'm gonna send it to the bigger stuff, it will try. And you have to fight mentally, but also like physically, hold still, to really get, it's called disassociation. You wanna disassociate movement from one joint. So when you're talking to the wrist, you're only talking to the wrist, right? And the wrist is the only one talking back to you. Supinate, big circle. And you're just gonna get good at all variations. If you're like, wow, the fist is much easier, you should do pancake hand. If you're like, the fist is amazing, I can't, like, what's gonna happen is you're gonna be like, what are my fingers doing? Anytime the body's doing something that you didn't ask it to do, that is an area we know we can improve upon. Big, slow, thorough. We're almost done. Fingers, 90. Okay, actually, I'll do this from the side. You're gonna try and keep 90 through flexion. Pinky kisses the palm, ring, middle, pointer, thumb, pointer, middle, ring, pinky. Now you see I got a little bit of cheat there. That's normal, it's okay. You're gonna try and fight for as little cheat as possible. Okay, now I'm gonna come forward because now you're gonna do this variation. So we're going into, oh sorry, this was extension, this is flexion. Okay, little kiss, oh mama, little kiss. You're gonna feel a lot of heat in those forearms. Okay, pointer, middle, ring, pinky. You did it. That's the ultimate warm-up. We literally have spoken to every single one of the joints from top to bottom. You're primed for your day, you're primed for your workout. Go crush it.